Your campus, your news. Elon Local News is your news leader.
Here's what we're following tonight.
Students are moving out of the Oaks. I'll tell you why coming up.
But by the time they get to us, they have lost everything, all connection, and most relationships.
One food pantry closed, another opened. Why they say there's a need for it in the community.
It's nice to know that we won't forget.
A piece of history has found its home in Alamance County. How one man is trying to honor it.
You're watching Elon Local News.
Right now, we're following breaking news out of Washington, D.C. The FBI is saying Aaron Alexis, a 34-year-old military contractor from Texas, is the dead suspect in the mass shooting that occurred this morning in the Navy Yard base.
At least 13 people, including the shooter, were killed and others were injured, according to NBC and CNN. One police officer was shot, according to D.C. Police Chief Kathy Lanier.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Sky Cowens.
And I'm Megan Ford. Elon Jr. Katie Kaler's dad is a defense contractor at the Navy Yard base. As of 3 p.m., Kaler said her father is on lockdown.
Katie Kaler is currently studying abroad in London. We spoke with her earlier on Skype to get her reaction to hearing the news.
It was kind of a mixture of obviously concern and disbelief. Living in Washington, you guys come to expect things are going to happen. Obviously, you don't want them to happen, but it's a major city, things like that happen. But I never, ever thought that it would be somewhere like the Navy Yard, much less somewhere where one of my parents works.
Kaler told us she wasn't sure when the lockdown would end. Kaler is from D.C., and more than 15% of Elon students are from the Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. areas. We'll continue to bring you updates on this story as it develops.
Two Elon students say they woke up to hate language on Sunday. The two roommates, one Jewish and one African American, claim someone wrote KKK and drew a swastika on their dorm room whiteboard. They both live in the interfaith learning community in Colonnades D. We spoke to Dr. Smith Jackson, who says the university is investigating and believe the two were targeted.
It's hurtful. It's unnecessary. It's just atrocious. And so hopefully, you can take a bad situation and try to educate people for improvement around that.
Dr. Jackson told us there will be two meetings to discuss this. The first is tonight with the hallmates of the Interfaith Learning Community, and then tomorrow morning, the Inclusive Community Council's education team will gather to discuss. While he hopes dialogue comes from this, Dr. Jackson told us that he doesn't think he needs to email everyone about it like he has for racial slur incidents in the past.
I hope that everyone at the university does know that we do abhor this kind of situation, this kind of behavior. We don't think that anyone is on the campus that's going around that's a threat to the campus.
A 42-year-old man is charged with second-degree trespassing for trespassing on Elon's campus. Police say a student reported the incident. Jerry Glenn Greer Jr. was arrested on September 11th when police found him in the Partners Place parking lot. Keep checking ElonLocalNews.com for more updates.
Here on Elon's campus, it's been a messy week for residents living in the Oaks apartments. Today, several students are moving to a new building after they found sewage leaking into their rooms. Nicole Chadwick joins us live at the apartments with student reactions. Nicole?
Students just finished moving out of the Oaks Brown building behind me after weeks of plumbing problems. Take a look.
Margaret Bryant wasn't expecting such a loud apartment, and she wasn't expecting one with a fragrance either.
There was this really awful smell, and it just kind of took over the apartment a little bit.
The fragrance of sewage, that is. Bryant and her roommates have had shower problems since the beginning of the year, but this weekend, sewage spread from her bathroom and from across the hall, filling the walkways of the Oaks Brown building with a nasty stench. A physical plant crew came in today and used a camera to check the pipes around Bryant's apartment.
It got to the point where we weren't really sure where it was all coming from.
Physical plant checked the apartment and the hallway for the third time today, and though the pipes are clear, The carpet stinks.
Utilities Director Mark Terrell spoke with Bryant and her roommates.
Waste lines have been blocked up in the building. This happened this frequently this weekend, and it did a little backup in the system where, we had some wastewater come out.
Bryant and her roommates are moving out today while Physical Plant removes the carpet and checks the piping behind their walls.
We're just kind of ready to move forward with this and have our apartment be recarpeted and retiled and have everything out so it's no longer a contaminated space.
Until they can move back in, the apartment will continue to smell and hum.
Bryant and her roommates are currently moving into the Trollinger house for the rest of the week, about half a mile away from their home. Live in the Oaks, I'm Nicole Chadwick, Elon Local News.
Now on to another problem on campus, spiders. Some students are saying that spiders, like the ones you see here, are crawling around campus in greater numbers and bigger sizes than last year. Carly Hildyard joins us outside McEwen with more. Carly?
Megan, here under the Oaks, if you glance up, there are several spider webs in sight, but I spoke with some Elon students who have seen something similar inside their homes.
I'm not really scared of spiders, but the size of this thing would make anyone really jumpy.
Senior Tucker Boulding lives off campus, but that doesn't mean he's safe from the spiders around Elon.
It's just big, yellow striped and looked poisonous, so that's initially why it was kind of frightening.
Boulding says he's had problems with bugs before, but never a spider this big. Junior Avery McStay says she couldn't handle the amount of spiders and bugs in her Mill Point apartment. She called Physical Plant for an exterminator before she even moved in.
The walls, connecting to the floor, were just lined with bugs and dead spiders and all these gross creatures. It's awful.
It's something that has gotten the attention of the Elon community. Many students are saying spiders are roaming the area more than last year, and they seem like they're getting bigger.
They've been in the doorway of my room, right on the carpet. I think one came out of my bathroom. There was one in our laundry room too.
I've seen them outside of the building, but I have a huge spider bite on my leg, so I'm sure that there's one in the room somewhere.
Physical Plant identified these spiders as garden spiders and wolf spiders. Physical Plant Environmental Services Director David Warden says spiders tend to follow their prey. So if they're inside your home, it might indicate a bug problem.
They are kind of scary looking. They don't attack people. What they do is they set up camp so that they can kill off the insects that typically do bother us.
Warden says this summer's rainfall, warmth, and high humidity are to blame for the increased spider presence. But unless they're venomous, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
To kill off spiders really is not in our best interest. We want to let them thrive, let them do the things that they need to do.
Physical Plant says there have been 7 spider-related requests, work order requests, so far this year. If you're looking to get rid of these pests, try getting rid of food left out that could attract them. Also try sealing off spaces in your home where the spiders could enter. Live under the Oaks, I'm Carly Hildyard, Elon Local News.
We have new information tonight on a story we've been following since November. Alexis Gray is due in court this Wednesday after her July 3rd court date was postponed. You might remember Gray was arrested in November and is charged with felony possession of a firearm on a school campus. Stick with Elon Local News for updates as we find out more.
When Loaves and Fishes shut their doors 2 weeks ago, hundreds of people in the area worried about where they would get their meals. Our Jason Puckett joins us live in the studio with information about a new option that just opened their doors to the community. Jason?
That's right, Megan and Sky. Loaves and Fishes filled more than 7,000 grocery orders a month. When they closed, hundreds of people were left without food. Allied Churches hopes they can help with a new food pantry.
Sometimes family is not going to take you in. Friends are not going to take you in. And so you come here.
Ed Toyero knows the need for places like Allied Churches. 9 months ago, he lost his job, his house, and his motivation.
Stalled for a little while, and I guess about a month, and it was like doing winter, snowing, icy, and I said, well, let me come check in, because I was staying in my van for a while.
This past year, he relied on soup kitchens and shelters to get by. And he's not alone. According to the United Way, 17% of Alamance County is below the poverty line. For a family of 4, that means living off less than $24,000 a year. That's where Allied Churches steps in.
Doing a beef stir fry.
Food, beds, washing machines, a common area, computers, they've got it all. And last week, after Loaves and Fishes closed, they added more.
We knew we had to step up and help out, and we have.
They now offer free lunches, free dinners, and a free food pantry, but Crawford says the most important thing they do is let people know they're not alone.
So many people, all they need to know is that at least one person cares about them. And you belong somewhere, and you belong here at Allied Churches. And once you have that little bit of hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a train coming at you.
And their services help people get back on their feet. 9 months later, Ed Toyero has a job, has a home, and now works at Allied Churches to give back.
And that's what this place does. It kind of reassures you that you are still a human being, and life goes on.
Jason Puckett, Elon Local News.
Director Crawford told me that they serve an average of 150 lunches every day. Last week they served dinners for the first time, and they served about 150 plates each night as well. They effectively doubled their daily plate output. In the studio, Jason Puckett, Elon Local News.
And Allied Churches is not the only organization giving back to the community. Now eating on campus can make a big impact. This year, Elon Dining started Dine with a Purpose. For 1 week each month, on-campus dining locations will donate 10% of food dollars, as well as cash and credit sales to campus organizations. This past week, Acorn Coffee Shop partnered with Campus Kitchen, a group that collects unused food and gives it to the community.
There's a new person giving parking tickets this year. That's because former Elon Town parking enforcer Lake Blaylock died this summer. She held that position for 2 years. Blaylock was diagnosed with cancer 9 years ago. Elon Local News found out that on July 1st, Blaylock lost her fight with cancer.
Replacing Blaylock is Alamance County native Larry Boggs. He is 72 years old and works part-time with Elon University senior Alexander Layden. He describes himself as a happy-go-lucky guy and doesn't want students to jump to the wrong conclusions if he gives them a parking ticket.
We're trying to do our job, and we understand that you're here trying to get an education. You don't have much money, and we don't just go out and try to give you a ticket to bring in money. I get nothing out of it. I get my regular salary.
Coming up on Elon Local News, sculpting the future from the past. A piece of history is coming to the county.
And later, how to stay safe. First responders from the community shared some tips at this year's Autumn Bash.
Continue. A piece of history has made its way to Alamance County. It's now a local metal shop owner's task to properly honor it. Joe Bruno has more.
It's something that can't be rushed. It's about evoking an emotion.
Each sculpture at Beechwood Metalworks has a story. Each piece is carefully crafted to leave an impression on people.
I want it to be something that people feel. In my opinion, that's what sculpture is about.
From wooden monkeys to flower sculptures, there are a lot of pieces that come out of this factory. But right now, there's one project on Casey Lewis's mind.
It's very humbling to think about the fact that, our small county managed to get a piece of this.
25 pounds and 4 by 4 inches of World Trade Center steel. Lewis got it from a wrecking company in Greensboro, and now it's his job to make it into a sculpture. It's a piece of history for those in Alamance County to see and remember the events and impact of 9/11.
I want everybody to focus on the sacrifices that these public servants made. The beauty of it to me is how loving and giving these people were. And I hope that I'm able to address that.
It's a small piece of steel with a big meaning, and that's something Lewis doesn't want to forget.
And this was important enough for them to not just sell for scrap.
There's still no set plan on how and where the steel will be located in Alamance County, but the meaning behind the piece of history will never change. Joe Bruno, Elon Local News.
Lewis says he ideally wants to have the project finished by September 11th of next year and is still scouting for locations to showcase the sculpture.
It started out as a public awareness fair 5 years ago, but has changed into a time to meet the people who keep you safe. I found out who these people are and what they are doing to keep the community informed.
Well, I started working for the town in 1972.
Former Elon Town Mayor Beth Schmidt has seen lots of change in the town. She attended this year's Autumn Bash in the park named after her and says emergency services have grown.
And we certainly didn't have any fire departments or fire buildings or anything like that we have now.
Here at the 5th annual Autumn Bash, people of all ages got to meet the first responders who help keep our community safe.
We're here just to show the community that we're here to support them. We're not all about stopping you and writing your tickets. We are here to help you out any way we can.
State Trooper Mitch Mann says there's one thing all college students need to be aware of.
Texting while driving is the #1 thing that's killing teens and hurting people this day and time in collisions.
Elon Town firefighter Tyler Shockley also had one piece of advice for Elon students.
Whenever you make Easy Mac, put water in it, please. Please put water in it. Please. That is all. I can't stress it enough.
The lessons weren't just for college students. The Burlington Fire Department spent time teaching younger children safety tips they should know.
So if it does happen one day, you'll be prepared and you won't be stuck.
More than 100 people attended the event, and there were activities for everyone, like a rock climbing wall, a moon bounce, and live music. But the main attraction was the different emergency response vehicles.
It offers a bonding opportunity, not just for the town of Elon, but for everybody in general. They get to know their first responders on a personal level.
Coming up after the break, a new chain of grocery stores is bringing a different type of cuisine to the Triad. Find out how this store is connecting people from around the world.
It's a class at Elon that puts students on the stage. Find out more coming up later in the show.
Eating at Elon can get expensive. On campus, the average swipe is worth approximately $9. ELN's Cash Armstrong joins us with the best deals when it comes to on-campus dining.
If you're trying to decide whether or not it's worth it to use a swipe or use your own money, I have some tips. Let's start with the best deals. The retail location that gives you the best value for your swipes is $18.89. Some of the options are $16, including a steak dinner with sides and a drink. Using your Phoenix card will save you some money. Also, Freshie. It's only a difference of a couple of bucks, but you'll still be taking a less of a hit to your wallet. Don't forget the dining halls. If you're feeling extra hungry, they are definitely your best meal. With all-you-can-eat buffets, your swipes can buy you a large portion of food. Now on to the worst deal, Biscuitville. The average combo meal costs around $3. That's almost $6 less than the value of a swipe. Also Acorn. If you're looking for desserts, you might as well just pay with cash. If you're on a meal plan, remember, they come with meal dollars. So if you need some coffee, use those first. That's all the tips I have for now. Looking out for the college consumer, I'm Cash Armstrong.
A new addition to Burlington means a unique eating option for students. Our Katie Merrigy found out more.
Cactus. I didn't know people was eating cactus leaves, but they eat those.
Cactus is one of the many foods Stephen Kim sells at Super G Mart, a new international grocery store on West Webb Avenue. He started his career working with restaurants and has since opened 3 international groceries in Charlotte, Greensboro, and now Burlington.
There's a lot of ethnic group of people in Burlington, even though it's a small town, but there is a lot of ethnic groups.
Kim looks to tap into the various markets in the area by offering goods not found at normal grocery stores.
You look at the like Walmarts or Harris Teeter or Food Lions, they're grocery stores, they're big, but a lot of things they don't have.
Kim says the most rewarding part of his job is connecting people with the goods they're looking for.
When you meet their demand, when you say, hey, can you carry this product, some weird product that I don't even know, next time when this customer comes find this product that she was looking for, oh, they're really happy.
By creating a community for his customers, Kim hopes he can make the experience a better one.
They feel like it's like they're in their country store.
He also has a suggestion for college students.
Come on, try it. That's all I can say. Just try it.
Katie Merrigy, Elon Local News.
Kim told us students and faculty at Elon can receive a 5% discount if they bring along their Phoenix card.
Master classes at Elon can mean a semester of intense work and great productions. Our John Bowden found one class that's doing it differently.
It's one performance at Elon where the audience is part of the show, Improv. Yeager Hall hosted the 2013 Improv Olympics on Saturday night, a masterclass for Elon's theater department. But this class is different than most.
It just started today. We got here at 9 a.m., finished about 4, and we just had the performance today, so it was a one-day deal.
The class spent more than 6 hours rehearsing for their only live performance. Sophomore Harris Fishman says that the experience wasn't easy.
Hardest part of the show was just thinking on my feet, just having to trust that all of my fantastic co-hosts and co-stars were going to help me carry the show.
The masterclass is a special program taught by Scott Eck, owner of the Laughingstock Theater Company in New York City. He teaches the class every 2 years and says that Elon students always challenge him.
Every time I come down to Elon, the students demand that I give them more and I give them better than I gave them before. And that's one of the draws for me, because I have to bring my A game when I come to Elon.
For the performance, the troupe was split into 2 teams, and each team performed 5 sketches, including a scene in a doctor's office and a mock newscast.
Underage drinking is actually more legal than an article.
Members of the troupe say they plan to bring their experience to Elon's other improv performances. John Bowden, Elon Local News.
An international putting tournament came to Burlington this week. We have the updates.
Welcome back to Elon Local News. I'm Justin Beagle here with today's sports update. Burlington, North Carolina. Most people couldn't put it out on the map, but it played host to the 54th Annual Professional Putters Association National Championship. Our Rajat Agarwal has more.
Generally, putt-putt is all fun and games, but that wasn't the case on the course in Burlington this week. Professional putters from all across the country came out to compete, and it was all for a great cause. The Professional Putters Association has hosted miniature golf putting championships since 1959. This year, Burlington Putt-Putt Fun Center got the bid for the event.
Well, Burlington, North Carolina was one of 3 different cities across the country that asked for the national champions to be here.
Every PPA event is for charity. This year was no different. More than $5,000 was raised for the Alamance Regional Charitable Foundation.
The charity helps players that would be, helps citizens with medical needs and whatever things in life that they have trouble paying for but still need to get the help.
The organization has awarded $8 million in prize money to putters worldwide since the 1950s. This year, Matthew McCaslin took the win along with $3,000. But all the players showed their skills, rarely making anything other than a hole-in-one. Some people think the event might put Burlington on the map.
It was great for our city and great for this facility, and we were excited and happy to host this event.
The tournament was a huge success, with large crowds coming out to watch play. There's clearly a new buzz around the sport. Rajat Agarwal. Elon, Local News.
The Elon men's and women's cross-country teams were up bright and early Saturday morning for the annual Elon Invitational. Last year, both teams had strong performances and looked to repeat in 2013. On the men's side, junior Luis Vargas and senior Ben Perrin were the first 2 runners to cross the finish line and helped lead the team to a first-place overall finish. Meanwhile, on the women's side, senior Allison Orem finished 3rd overall, crossing the finish line in 17 minutes and 42 seconds. The Elon ladies would fall short of first place, losing to UNCG by 1 point. Both teams will have 2 weeks to prepare before their next run in Charlotte on September 28th. Later that evening, the men's soccer team had its home opening match from Rudd Field against UNCW. Elon was looking for its 4th win of the year. It was a beautiful Friday evening and the stands were full. The first half was a defensive struggle, but in the 30th minute, Elon would break the deadlock when Jason Waterman heads the ball past the UNCW keeper on the cross from Daniel Lovitz. A few minutes later, Lovitz would get a goal of his own off the feed from Nathaniel Deal. Elon would have a 2-0 lead heading into the locker room at halftime. Early on in the second half, Waterman was at it again, scoring his 2nd goal of the night. Elon would go on to win the match by a final score of 3-1. Just 2 weeks after making the Baltimore Ravens' final roster, former Elon wide receiver Aaron Millett's rookie season in the NFL has come to an end. Last week, it was announced that Millett would be out for the season. He was put on the season-ending injured reserve list with an undisclosed knee injury. Millett expressed his disappointment on Twitter, but vowed he would come back bigger, stronger, and faster next season.
Justin, what can we expect from sports this week?
Well, on Tuesday, the men's soccer team will host Wake Forest at Rudd Field, which will be an interesting match. On Wednesday, the volleyball team will host Radford, and then it all leads up to Saturday's big football game against App State. Those are the games to watch this week.
Thanks, Justin. That's all the news we have for you now. Stay up to date with more coverage. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Also, be sure to tune into our morning show tomorrow morning at 9:50 right here on Channel 5. From all of us here at Elon Local News, have a great week.